So we came up with the questions, or Judy and I did, mostly Judy, but Scotty won. Oh, okay. Okay. And but we weren't able to ask anybody the questions because it was really last minute, all this crazy stuff. But do you want to hear both customers and competition?
Yeah, let's hear your questions.
So for customers, what's your vision for your property? Because we're landscapers. How do you or how would you like to use your property? Who else uses your property? How much work do you put into maintaining your property? And then there were like a couple, like lots of different questions. Fifth one.
Do you want to?
Right, so like, yeah, what do you want to put into property? And then there's like what the size of the property is your soil tested, what's your access to water, your utilities, the other utilities like in the yard and inside, etc. And then like shade versus sun in the yard, things like that. And then for the competition, it was who are your customers? What are your range of services? What's your marketing strategy? What are your prices, or what's your hourly rate? And what's your service area? Like what area do you service? Who your employees are, and what the structure of the business is. So those are the questions.
Cool. And do you have a plan for getting those questions? Do you know who you want to ask those questions of?
We're working on it.
Not really any other. Well, I guess there's lots of other landscaping businesses, but not like us. I'm sure.
Yeah, we can ask other landscaping businesses that aren't co-ops, and then like probably just call them up and ask around. And then for customers, we could probably just ask our previous customers because we have quite a few of them.
Okay. Yeah. Do you guys know about Yard and a Half Cooperative in Waltham? It's an existing landscaping business that's become a cooperative. It's like 25 people, so they might be a good group for you to ask. Yeah.
Shane just reached out to me.
In where?
They're in Waltham.
What do you do? Your question just made me think. What do you do when these kind of questions that you have with the competitors that are really important might be threatening to them? Because we experienced, like when we talked to Dr. Ronzo, there were some questions that he wouldn't answer.
Yeah.
And we had asked, we said, oh, like we asked him about where he sourced his products and like would he be interested in sharing, and he got upset with us. We had to mend some bridges, and I was just thinking,
I also saw that as an issue.
I'd suggest going outside your service area. Like go outside the city, maybe.
Yeah, so like people are.
Prices will vary, but maybe the co-op will be more cooperative.
Well, yeah. That.
Yeah, that was, so if it's a cooperative, maybe they'd be more willing to share. And we came up against that too. These were two groups that have kind of swooped in with grant money and taken our jobs kind of thing, right? And so we're like, can we go and just ask them these questions, like how much do you charge and those kind of things? So we're thinking maybe we'll even call up as potential clients, you know, and say how much, kind of, but.
Research.
Yeah, I mean, like, how much do you charge for these kind of things? And we might walk a fine line when we ask like really technical questions and stuff. They're like, wait, who are you? But we'll see how far we can get, you know?
That's actually a pretty good idea, just going into
That definitely happens. In the market research world, that's definitely a pretty common strategy. You want to be, we'd like to behave really ethically. And so it really matters what kind of a business you're approaching that way, So if you like this hot sauce guy, and you think he has a good business and you're going to him because you admire him and he's open to talking with you, then yeah, there's a lot of questions he's going to answer. But you ask him what's his secret ingredient and he's going to kick you out the door, right? I would be really careful about who you're approaching. If you like this business, if you respect their work, the people who are your most direct competitors are going to be people you interact with while your business is operating, So when I used to work at a construction company, I worked at a green construction company. We used all like low VOC materials and did highly energy efficient buildings. There was a time, and we had like maybe 5 businesses in town that were all our most direct competitors. They all had websites like ours. We like bid on the same jobs all the time, and we would see these people at conferences and different events and stuff. We'd have tables next to each other, and we ended up getting friendly with them. And the biggest company, the guys who were very successful and they had really nothing to lose, they ended up convening us all into like a group that would meet like monthly to talk about best practices in our industry, because they wanted to talk about how to improve the whole industry and how to get other businesses also doing business the way that we were. So we were still competitors, and I think the group eventually fell apart because we were competitors and like we were bidding directly against each other on big jobs. So it didn't last for very long. But you should keep this in mind, and you should treat your competitors with respect, if you respect them. If they're not people you respect, by all means, go ahead and, do whatever you want. But if they're local businesses that you like and respect, then approach them with respect and don't be deceitful. I will tell you that it is a thing that people do to call up and make like your customer. A better practice would be find somebody that you know who really is a potential customer for their business and get them to call. So if you know like somebody's dad or mom like has a house that they hire a landscaper for, ask them to call up the landscaping company to get a quote, because they really are a potential customer and it's less deceitful that way. So let's